So I'm working on the oil accumulator for my 1952 Dodge. This one's the Insta-Lube brand. Basically, it's a 12-volt valve that dumps the oil under pressure into the engine before you fire it up. And what I'm doing is flushing the oil. It's been in there many years, and every now and then it's good to flush it out. So I've removed it from the vehicle, and now I'm refilling it. And I want to refill it without disturbing all these connections here. And so what I decided to do is use my vacuum pump to apply a vacuum to the Schrader valve here, and then use the shut-off ball valve to capture the vacuum inside there, and then put a length of tubing down in this oil here, and I've marked where the oil started, and because I want to know how much I'm putting in. I want to put about a quart in, and so on the first cycle, I'm down about halfway there. Started off here, went down to there. And what I'll do is shut this valve off and remove the tubing here, apply another vacuum, capture it again, and that should get it down to where it needs to be. This is the Insta-Lube oil accumulator for the engine in my 1952 Dodge. Basically how it works, it stores oil under pressure when the engine's running through this port here. And what you do is you energize this 12-volt valve, and it allows the oil to be stored under pressure inside the tank. And basically you just turn this, you activate this valve momentarily before you start it, and then I'll turn that on and store it again. It has a Schrader valve here that you use to, initially what you'll do is you'll fill this tank with about 3/4 of a quart to 1 quart of oil, and then you pressurize the fitting here with about 60 to 70 psi, and that pressurizes the oil that's in the tank. So then when you energize the valve, it's going to dump the oil into the engine. And this is the connection here that goes to the engine right there. So the oil is flowing back and forth. When you dump the tank, it flows into the engine, pressurizes the galley, and then when you want to store the pressure, it's the valve is opened again, and it allows the oil up under pressure here. And basically it's mounted in the car vertically like that. And this bracket here just attaches it to the fender wall of the car. And every now and then I remove it from the car and dump the oil out, make sure it's clean, and then put new oil, fresh oil in it, because I'm not so sure how far the oil actually travels into the engine, how often it's actually makes its way to the engine, because there's a pretty long hose from here to the oil galley of the engine. And so I think it's just kind of trading back and forth, trading the pressure. But every now and then I do want to change this oil out and make sure it's clean. So I'm going to close the ball valve and capture the oil. I don't want the oil draining down. And so now I'm going to pull a vacuum on it here. You can hear that. I'm going to pull a vacuum on this here. And then I can close the ball valve and then release the vacuum here on this side. Then I can connect it up to there and remove my clamp here. That kept the oil all the way up to here. And so now when I open the valve, I'm going to pull the rest of that oil in, or a good amount of it anyway. You can see it's slowly dropping.